article we saw in the Mail today saying that Tyson Fury Deontay Wilder 3 is off. What can you tell us about that?
Well, the situation is that he will fulfil his contractual obligations, and he's told me categorically that he wants to fight this year. At the moment, I don't see how the fight's going on with Deontay. That's the conversation we've had. It was not on, so he will fight, and if it doesn't go on this year, then Tyson's basically said knock it on the head.
Yard Arthur.
Those are the words of Frank Warren in regards to Tyson Fury. I know a lot of guys, a lot of people have came to me, and because I actually looked at this, and knock it on the head, we don't really use that term over here. We say things like, hey, something has come to a head, right? But knock it on the head, I had to research it myself, and a lot of people told me, well, Tyson Fury's basically saying if Deontay Wilder and his side or those two sides can't come to an agreement this year, that particular fight is going to come to a head. Meaning it won't happen if it won't be this year, in other words. Because I was like, okay, because there's different meanings and different, there's also different meanings, like something that has to be resolved or whatnot. But the way it's going, it's still unclear. Now, Frank Warren did say that, hey, we're going to fulfill the contractual obligations, but if it doesn't fight this year, we don't know when it's going to happen. And basically, this fight could slip through the cracks. This is exactly what I was telling you guys yesterday without even seeing this interview. Okay, I didn't even see this interview before I made my last video about the fight or about Team Wilder denying that it is not off. Okay, see, at that point, you have two sides, people. You have Bob Arum, Frank Warren, you have Shelley Finkel, Al Heyman, and these guys have to come together and make a date. If they can't make a date, this is exactly what can happen, because Tyson Fury is a guy that, do you think Tyson Fury with one draw, and people thought he won the first fight, along with a devastating, dominant performance against Wilder, do you think he really cares about a third fight, him personally, on top of already agreeing in principle for a 50-50 split with Anthony Joshua, the cash cow? Do you really think he really cares? The person or the side that should care the most would be the side that lost, the 40% side. The 40% side is the Wilder side. They need to be more concerned with making this fight happen, stopping all the BS, stopping all the possible reasons for this fight not happening if they really want it to happen. Because if it's going the way it keeps going and people keep being quiet, Shelley Finkel, he's speaking on his behalf. He's doing his job. Good for him. He's doing his, he's using his management skills by at least coming forth and saying, no, the fight's still on. But at that point, Shelley Finkel should then also do his job, contact Team Fury and listen, I know what the issue is with Fury. We need to sit down and see when we can make a date, because if Tyson Fury messes around and fights someone else, this could be the same situation like Floyd Mayweather and Oscar De La Hoya. Okay? Deontay Wilder fighting Tyson Fury, his name was first on the banner because he was champion. Okay? That's that. A lot of people looked at that a 50-50, like a fight, who was the A side, who was the B side, this, that, and the other, right? Well, Deontay Wilder's name was first since he was the champion, just like Ruiz Joshua was in the rematch. However, Oscar De La Hoya versus Floyd Mayweather Jr., Oscar De La Hoya was indeed the cash cow. He was indeed the A side. But what happened? History repeats itself. Things happen like this, and Deontay Wilder may never get his chance. However, to be fair, Deontay Wilder, this is his second fight with Tyson Fury. Okay, but De La Hoya, I think, got the shitty end of the stick more so than Deontay Wilder if it goes down like this. But again, history repeats itself, because remember, Tyson Fury didn't fight Vladimir Klitschko. In fact, indeed, he waited a couple of years and fought Joshua. I think was a better Vladimir. He had some rest off and he was more focused, and he's in with a different opponent, of course. So these things can happen. And what Frank Warren is saying is nonchalantly, this could be an easy way to get out of this particular fight. If Tyson says what he's going to do, and we're going to do what Tyson says and what Tyson wants, right? See, those promoters nowadays work for the fighter, not the other way around. Well, some promoters anyway. I can't speak for all of them, but Tyson Fury says he wants to do something. They're going to bend over backwards to make sure that happens. And in the meantime, try to get them some cash. And that's exactly what Bob Arum's trying to do. You know, that's why I honestly think that the fight has come to this type of situation or this type of stalling because they're trying to wait for live events. And now Bob Arum's pissed off at Eddie Hearn because Eddie Hearn's not really giving him any type of motivation or support, rather, to have a live fight when the biggest fight of the year, Anthony Joshua versus Kubrat Pulev, is behind closed doors. So that's kind of a bad thing, and it's pretty much forcing him to fathom the idea of fighting behind closed doors. Okay, so, you know, a lot of times these fighters, and these promoters are not accustomed to certain pay cuts. They don't work well. But I think that's what's bringing this fight to a head. However, if the fight doesn't happen, we're going to have things thrown all over the place anyway. Okay, but what we know is Tyson Fury, like we always knew, he's ready to fight. That's all it really means. That's all that really matters. So it is what it is. They said, hey, we're gonna definitely put a knock on the head, you know, knock it on the head, meaning it's not going to happen if it doesn't happen this year, so somebody better do something quick. Anyway, you guys tell me what you think about Frank Warren's statement. Of course, please subscribe, and you guys been counterpunching. Peace.